A soldier? How embarrassing. Look at her, standing there like a brainwashed grunt while the rest of us actually achieved high society. You couldn't even afford a basic designer dress for my engagement gala. My sister's high-pitched, mocking laughter echoed through the grand ballroom of the Crystal Resort. The upscale jazz music stopped instantly. 112 guests, including local politicians, wealthy investors, and elite country club members, froze, turning their heads to stare directly at me. My younger sister, Chloe Vance, stood on the decorated marble staircase, holding a crystal glass of imported champagne. Beside her stood our mother, fully nodding along with an arrogant, self-righteous smirk. I stood near the entrance, wearing my crisp, immaculate army dress uniform. I had literally just stepped off a military transport flight from a brutal, 10-month deployment overseas. I hadn't even had time to change. "Chloe, stop," I said, my voice tight as 112 pairs of eyes judged me. "I came straight from the base because you begged me to be here for your big announcement." "Yeah, to serve as a reality check for everyone," Chloe shouted into the microphone, making sure the entire room heard her. "While you were playing war games in the mud, my fiancé and I built a multi-million-dollar tech startup. You're just a low-class embarrassment to our family name, Maya. Take your cheap boots and get out of my gala before you ruin the aesthetic." Shocked whispers broke out across the ballroom instantly. Did she really blast her own sister in uniform? Well, Chloe is a millionaire now. I guess she doesn't want a low-level soldier ruining her image. How humiliating for the mother. My mother stepped forward, waving her hand dismissively. "Do what your sister says, Maya. You're an eyesore. Go back to your barracks." A wave of suffocating emotional pain hit my chest. My hands began to shake. I was an active-duty Army captain, a decorated intelligence officer who had survived dangerous frontline operations. The disrespect was a physical blade twisting in my heart. I turned on my heel and walked out into the cold night air, the heavy glass doors shutting behind me. But my toxic family wasn't done. The moment I reached the parking lot, my phone vibrated violently. It was a text from Chloe. "By the way, failure. Mom just signed over the legal title of grandfather's private mountain estate entirely to my name. Your inheritance is officially gone. Don't even try going back to the estate tonight. The security codes have been wiped. Your stuff is on the curb." My jaw dropped. Before I could even type a response, a second emergency notification flashed on my screen from my military credit union. "Alert! High priority defense credit line frozen. Joint authorized user. Evelyn Vance has withdrawn $120,000 for corporate expansion fees." My mother had just completely drained my active deployment savings account. The money I earned risking my life overseas. They were destroying my entire existence in real time. They thought I was an easy target. They honestly believed I was just some low-level clerk because I never bragged about my rank or my accomplishments. But their arrogance was a fatal mistake. They called me a low-class embarrassment. They thought Chloe's tech startup was a self-made empire. They had absolutely no clue that the only reason Chloe wasn't sitting in a federal prison cell was because of the very sister they just threw out. 1 year ago, Chloe had illegally misappropriated investor funds and breached massive data privacy laws. Her company was facing immediate liquidation and a massive federal lawsuit. My mother had called me, crying hysterically into the phone. "Maya, please. If Chloe gets arrested, our family status is ruined. You have that deep military trust from your grandfather. You have to save your sister." Because I loved them, and because I valued family honor, I intervened. I didn't just give them a loan. I used my specialized defense bonuses, my grandfather's military legacy fund, and my status as an officer to privately buy out the toxic debts through a secure defense holding company. I became the secret, 100% owner of Chloe's startup, hiding my identity behind an anonymous military LLC to protect her fragile ego. My mother knew every single detail, but she begged me to keep it a secret so Chloe wouldn't lose her confidence. And this was my reward. They stole my inheritance, drained my bank account, and mocked my service in front of 112 people. Suddenly, my phone buzzed again. It was a link sent by a fellow officer. My mother had just posted a public status online. Tonight, my bitter daughter Maya tried to ruin her sister Chloe's engagement gala out of pure jealousy. She showed up in uniform just to demand money. We have officially disowned her. Beware of this fraud. The local community was already commenting, destroying my career reputation. In that exact split second, the heartbreak inside me died. It was replaced by a cold, lethal, razor-sharp military focus. They wanted to wage a war against an army intelligence officer? They just cleared a path for a tactical strike. I looked up toward the edge of the resort driveway. Sitting quietly under the dim lights was a heavy, armored black government vehicle with tinted windows. The engine was purring. I noticed a rigid, sharp-looking driver watching me from the front seat, speaking into a secure radio. Someone incredibly high-level had been monitoring my arrival tonight. I didn't know who sent them yet, but it was time to activate my counter-strategy. I dialed my military legal advocate. Marcus. They just forged the estate titles, drained the defense line, and launched a public smear campaign. Execute the immediate asset forfeiture. Liquidate the startup. Now. With pleasure, Captain, Marcus replied coldly. We are already moving. 10 minutes later, I slammed the heavy double doors of the crystal ballroom wide open. I marched down the center aisle, my posture perfectly straight, my eyes locked onto the stage. The moment Chloe saw me, she groaned loudly into the microphone. Are you kidding me? The grunt is back. Someone call security and drag this psychopath out of here. My mother rushed forward, her face twisted in pure rage. You ungrateful girl. I told you to leave. The police are on their way to arrest you for trespassing. The 112 guests turned, staring at me with deep disgust, whispering about the fraudulent soldier. I didn't flinch. I'm not leaving, Chloe, I said, my voice cutting through the ballroom with absolute, unyielding authority. But you might want to check your corporate bank accounts. Right now. What are you talking about, you pathetic little? Chloe started, but suddenly, her fiancé rushed onto the stage, holding a tablet, his face completely pale and sweating. He whispered frantically into Chloe's ear. Chloe's smug grin instantly shattered. She dropped her glass, and it shattered loudly across the marble floor. What? No. That's impossible. All our corporate assets are frozen? The company shares are gone. It's not a mistake, Chloe. A loud, thunderous voice roared from the entrance of the ballroom. Everyone spun around. Walking into the pavilion was the towering figure from the black vehicle. He was wearing an immaculate, crisp army dress uniform, his chest completely covered in rows of legendary combat medals. On his shoulders gleamed the undeniable, massive silver stars of a two-star major general. It was General Raymond Vance, the regional commander of military operations and my grandfather's former commanding officer. The 112 guests instantly gasped. Multiple local politicians and CEOs in the crowd stood straight up, their faces turning white with absolute terror. My mother staggered back, trying to force a fake, trembling smile. General Vance. Sir, what a surprising honor. This is just a minor family misunderstanding. Silence. General Vance barked. The sheer power of his voice made my mother physically jump back in fear. General Vance marched right past her, stopped directly in front of me, and brought his hand up to his brow in a flawless, razor-sharp salute. Captain Maya Vance, General Vance announced loudly, ensuring every single person in the room heard every syllable. On behalf of the United States Army and the Department of Defense, I want to personally congratulate you on your safe return from deployment. The intelligence strategy you executed overseas saved an entire battalion this year. You are a decorated hero, and this command will not allow your honor to be defiled by parasites. The room erupted into a wave of horrified gasps. An army captain? She saved an entire battalion. Oh my God, what did Chloe say to her? They completely lied to us. Marcus, my legal advocate, stepped up right behind the general, opening a heavy briefcase and tossing a stack of certified federal documents directly onto the table in front of Chloe's main corporate investors. Chloe Vance, Marcus stated clearly. 1 year ago, your startup was bankrupt due to your own illegal fraud. The entity that saved you, Vance Defense Holdings LLC, is entirely owned and funded by Captain Maya Vance's military salary. Because you and your mother committed grand larceny tonight by illegally transferring deeds and draining a protected defense credit line, your contract is permanently terminated. Marcus turned to the investors and politicians. As of 10 minutes ago, the startup is fully liquidated, and Chloe Vance is officially disqualified from corporate and political funding due to active federal theft investigations. No. Mom, do something. Chloe screamed, collapsing onto the stage stairs, clutching her head as her entire fake lifestyle, career, and future turned to ash in front of the city's elite. My mother dropped to her knees, crying hysterically, reaching out toward me. Maya, sweetie, please, we are your family. Your sister will go to jail. We will lose everything. Please tell them it's a mistake. I walked up to the edge of the stairs, looking down at my weeping mother and ruined sister. The agonizing pain that had crushed me for years was entirely gone. In its place was a beautiful, unyielding wall of self-respect. You told 112 people I was an embarrassment, Chloe. I said, my voice icy calm and incredibly powerful. You told everyone my service was a low-class joke. I looked at my mother, who was trembling on the floor. The truth is, my uniform paid for your freedom, your business, and your status. But tonight, I am taking it all back. You have 24 hours to pack your trash bags and get out of my grandfather's estate. Don't ever call me family again. Chloe wept openly into her hands, completely ruined. My mother covered her face in absolute social shame as all 112 guests began running for the exits, completely abandoning the fraudulent Vance family. Within minutes, the grand ballroom was completely empty. General Vance smiled proudly, lowering his salute. Excellent discipline, Captain. Your transport is waiting. Let's get you back to the base where true honor is respected. Thank you, sir, I replied, stepping out into the cool night air, leaving the tears and shattered egos behind. I spent my entire life destroying my own boundaries to buy the love of a family that only valued greed and status. But as I watched the flashing lights of the federal vehicles pull into the resort driveway, I finally understood the ultimate lesson. You can never cure a toxic family with your own sacrifice. True honor means knowing your worth, drawing an unbreakable line, and letting karma handle the rest.